Okay, I figured I would shoot kind of the wrap up on the crazy rear control arm project. You can hear this is the new exhaust that I put in. I'll put links to what I used. I actually put a resonator upstream of the muffler, and I went with a MagnaFlow, and it's pretty much a straight through 2.5. So it's a nice and low. It's a little growly. I still don't have it totally back together. I still don't have a rear drive shaft on the truck, so I'm driving around in front wheel drive right now, which is fine because I just kind of wanted to test stuff before I went too much further. Initially, when I put the F-150 tank in, I have trouble focusing this. When I put the F-150 tank in, lights, I put maybe a couple 2 or 3 gallons or something into the bottom of the tank, which got me above the the morning light guy. Then I put 9 gallons in, which is almost a half. So I've driven up just a little bit. So let's turn her off though. You heard her, she's growly. So the sending unit worked, which I'm happy about. And we'll see if we can take a look at the exhaust really quick. It's hard to film exhaust, it's hard to take exhaust pictures underneath the truck. So what I did is I actually created a section for the second O2 sensor and flanged it, and then this is the vibrant resonator, and I'll put links down in the description to these guys. And then it's just joined with a little piece of 1-inch pipe, and then this is the MagnaFlow straight through 2.5, and then really I just tacked on a down right there. So like I'm just dumping it underneath the truck, and you can see there's no drive shaft back here yet. But the rest of this is buttoned up. The gas tank is working great. The sending unit's working great. It doesn't seem to be starving for fuel at all. I've given her pretty hard a couple times. The outboarding of the shocks worked fine. So this, I'll put a call out to Octane Junkie. This is what I'm talking about for as far as clearance goes. And like I said, these are spares from a 5th gen Steelies, but I don't think you'd get away with outboarding the shocks without spacing it or notching the frame. So you definitely need to do that. The arms, I think, are working out great, and I would have to say that I'm shocked by the improvement in ride quality. The difference is night and day. To give you an example, my 17-year-old son thinks the exhaust sounds awesome, which means it's probably too loud, and I think it's just a teeny bit too loud, but I'm okay with it for now, and hopefully when I get it dumped from underneath the truck, or out to the side of the truck, I'll lose a little bit of the drone. It doesn't really drone annoying enough for me to change it major league, but my understanding is when you have it dumping under the truck, you get reflection of the sound underneath the truck, underneath the vehicle in general, so that's bad. But back to the arms, it's stunning how much better the truck rides on radius arms, and I'm guessing part of the reason is because you only have these 2 bushings that are really limiting the travel. I mean, you have the track bar, but under the 4 or 5 link, whatever you want to call it, the stock, the OEM setup, you really have 2 more bushings, or actually 4 more bushings, because you don't have the upper arms. I mean, yeah, you have 2 bushings there and 2 bushings there, but these are just in line. They're not really limiting the suspension travel, whereas in the other one they really are. And I think you get much less resistance, and you're sitting on the coil spring more. So the ride, I mean, the only thing I can say is when I drove it, I'm like, wow, this ride's a lot nicer. It's very floaty now compared to before, where you'd actually feel the bumps. And my 17-year-old son has said, holy shit, this drives completely different than my truck. And just so that you have something to reference, and that's his truck over there. And I have a build thread for that one too. Maybe I'll give you a link for that one too. That one's an OEM setup. There's really no modifications on that truck. It's really running just default. So all the trouble to put the gas tank in the back and wire that all up and run new hard lines and do new brackets and all that stuff. Now that it's done, I can say big improvement in ride quality. The truck really, it doesn't drive that much difference with the gas tank in the back. You can kind of tell it does. I still got to figure out brakes in the back. Shh, don't tell anyone. And the sway bar will fit. The out of the box 4Runner sway bar will fit, but I need to come up with some new axle assembly brackets to do that and move the brackets just a little bit. And then I think it will work, and I'll have to do some more testing. And I need to crank up the preload on my fronts to get her leveled out a bit. But that kind of wraps up this project for me. I mean, if you have any questions, you can bleep or bloop them in the bottom there, and I'll try to answer them. But for now, I'm probably almost kind of done with this truck for the summer, and I probably won't be touching it till next April because I got some other projects starting. So, like I said, if you have any questions, just shoot them down there in the comments, and I'll try to answer them for you, for the 5 people who viewed the video. But totally worth all the work, and Slava Ukransky.